My new friend and I sat and talked about politics while we listened to Kerry make his acceptance speech. And she was convinced that it would be very easy for America to elect somebody like John Kerry with his credentials and his background. And she also made a comment that she was sure that Americans weren't so foolish as to re-elect somebody like George W. Bush again. Well, we all know how that one turned out. But during the conversation, she impressed upon me how important American politics are on the world stage. Sometimes we forget here in America that we really do have an effect on the rest of the world in ways that we don't realize. And so her involvement, her understanding, and her knowledge about American politics to me was very intriguing. I kind of wish that I had had a lot more time with her to pick her brain about how things politically worked in New Zealand and make comparisons with our system. Anyway, we also talked about being politically active in our own communities, and at that time I was very, very new to it. And so she kind of, was very motherly toward me as far as encouraging me and telling me about her experiences both when she first became politically active as a very young woman and now that she was quite old, how she was ready to do what she could to keep the younger generation involved. So to encourage me, she reached into her bag and she brought out one of these and said, "I want you to have this." And she gave me this pen that says Democrats on it. And I thought that was really cool. And I was thrilled and I was touched. And so I've kept this with me. I use it specifically for Democratic Party meetings and when I need to take notes on things. And I wanted to make sure that since she had given it to me during the 2004 Democratic National Convention, that I had it with me during the 2008 Democratic National Convention. Anyway, it's Friday, my bags are packed, and I need to check out of my hotel room in about 15 minutes and head for the airport. Excuse me. Last night's convention finale was absolutely spectacular. If you saw any of it on TV, it was every bit as magnificent as what you saw. I do hope that you watched some of the speeches, and I'm going to blog a little bit more about the experience, but what I'll do is I'll give you a little preface. I tried walking to the Invesco field because I was told by a couple people, well, you can take this shuttle or you can take the light rail, but it really isn't that far. It's less than 2 miles, and there were crowds of people walking, and it's not that hard of a walk. And I thought, well, when you sit in meetings all day long, a little walk isn't bad, and the weather was really nice. So I started walking to the Pepsi Center, to Invesco Field, where the final acceptance speech was going to be given. And it was very interesting because there were literally tens of thousands of people walking and coming from all the different directions for security purposes. The police and Secret Service and Homeland Security. I actually saw DHS personnel there. That they actually had to close off some of the highways and overpasses that surround Invesco Field. And so it was this mass exodus of people. I shouldn't say exodus because they were going to the Invesco Field, but it really was stunning to see these thousands and thousands and thousands of people walking with just this determination and enthusiasm into Invesco Field. As I was walking, there was a gentleman kind of keeping pace with me, and I had looked over an overpass and down toward Invesco Field when we got closer, and I just kind of remarked, my God, this is just so amazing, all these people. And he said, yes, I agree, this really is fantastic. And he goes, when I was a little boy, my father took me to see Martin Luther King's March on Washington. And he goes, here I am, 40 years later, with my son, taking him to go see Barack Obama talk to America. And he goes, this is amazing. This is the most incredible thing I've ever been a part of. And that was pretty neat because this was all a very genuine kind of emotional experience for him. And, it was just very, very interesting. Anyway, there were a lot more kind of uh, notable experiences that I had last night, and they're not the kind of things that you're going to probably hear about from any other blogs or on the news. But like I said, I've got to check out of my room, and so I'm going to hope to set up my computer at the airport and finish my blog about last night's event and get that posted hopefully sometime today.